So I just received this in the post, my new Steambow M10. I was going to hold out and wait for the reviews, but when I saw this Merlin archery, I just couldn't resist buying it. I was going to wait for the Interceptor or the Revo, perhaps wait for some reviews, but I just could not resist. Buying this. Just want to make sure I don't damage it. Right, well, I opened it upside down, I think, but nevertheless. Oh, bolts, spare magazine, spare strings. You know, you go for a lot of strings. Red dot sight. This, I bought the £150 limb set because I think it comes with a 60. We'll see. I just thought I remember thinking the one it came with just didn't really seem powerful enough for me, so I wanted more. There you go. There you have it, the M10, Steambow M10. I think what I'll do is just put these down, put these aside for the moment. Boxes inside boxes by the looks of things. Okay, so this is the package that Merlin Archery sold. What's this? Oh, so that's the upper. Lower. Oh, £75 limb set. So £75 didn't seem heavy enough for me, if I'm honest. Another magazine. Just a few more bits. Extra bolts, they don't seem to want to stay. I bought enough bolts so I could fill 3 magazines. Cocking aid. Rather small instruction manual. There we go. Wow, that does really look. That really does look quite cool. Move the camera slightly so we could both see from the same angle. Okay, a bit annoying how that's just come straight out. Just make sure there's no damage on that. So I think it was probably been rattled around a little bit, but it's not the end of the world. Okay, so at least these items, the foregrip and the stock, now this cheek rest is a really nice touch, because the problem with crossbows is that you can never really put your cheek, okay, you have to look at how that works, put your cheek on the butt, on the stock, because the sight is usually too high. Probably going to be sensible to just look over the first steps. So I guess the piece is needed in the bottom of here. Now this is going to be slightly fiddly with gloves on. Why so tight? Let that line up with the Picatinny. So far I haven't seen an Allen key, which usually you get sent Allen keys, which is a bit of a shame. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to go and get some Allen keys and come back. Tell a lie, I found an Allen key in here. So get into that slightly. I suspect that's the correct one. It's quite difficult with gloves on. I'm not going to over tighten this, I'm just going to make sure it's tight. I'm not going to kill it. Okay. Nice. Very nice. Well, that's a bit annoying. Why does that stop crooked? I suspect I'm doing something obviously wrong here and unsure, so I'll pull that in and out like that. Oh, okay. So that's an adjustment. So I guess as far as I can take it is here. Line it up straight, and tighten this off. And I see what the little spanner there is for. So that looks quite straight to me. gonna be honest, don't love this. It's a bit fiddly. So I can only take it to there. Then they give you this spanner, which I suspect, as long as the stock is straight, can lock that off. Okay, actually, do you know what? Pretty solid. Very similar, if not better than the Cobra adder. That's a little bit janky, but it feels relatively rigid. So actually, do you know what? Now I've worked it out, it's not so bad. I'll just quickly say that so far, it's actually quite nice. So far, so good. I'm yet to work out this, but I'm sure the instructions will highlight that relatively quickly. I haven't owned a crossbow with this break style cocking action, but what I like about it is I think this is much better for the string than other cocking methods, which is what actually drew me to this. And people talk about taking your thumb off. I mean, I do actually think they're right. You'll probably have to. But it is what it is. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put on the upper, but I can see that this limb packer needs to come out, which I suspect probably this Allen key. I suspected wrong. Right, okay. Forget I said that, unless it is still that. Interesting. So I wonder what this grub screw is doing. Isn't that? Okay. Well, do you know what? I'll leave that for a moment, as I'm not entirely sure what that's doing. And we'll start with the upper assembly. Quite like these boxes actually, quite nice. That, I believe, is a little iron sight. That's what that's been sent for. Again, a bit annoyed that it looks like this has been thrown around, and that's why these cable ties are the way they are. But I can't see any damage to the upper. No, it all looks fine. Okay. So the upper just drops on. I don't think it's quite that simple. I think this has to be undone. Not lose that washer, that little nut. So that goes like that. goes through, we need to go back through there. What I'll do is I'll just tighten this up before we go any further. I'm going to need to get, I was about to say I'm going to need to get a little spanner. The Steambow, I've already provided it. Don't want to over tighten that, so I think I'll leave it there. Right, now it says that just, does it just click on? Or does this pin come out? So that goes off. Does this just go back through? What am I missing here? Okay, I haven't. Yeah, pull the pin out. Oh, goodness, what have I done? I don't think that's supposed to happen. I don't think that's supposed to happen, Steambow. Where's this little piece just come off? And I don't think that Allen key fits there. That's not a good start. I think I'm going to have to go and get my Allen keys. Right, so I've got my Allen keys. Not sure this is supposed to have happened. But regardless, it's an easy fix. Again, don't want to over tighten that. Right, let's try again. There we go. Right, so that's closed off. There we go. Right. Okay. So the next thing is getting the limb set in. Now, like I said before, this piece is in the way, which isn't on the instructions. So perhaps there'll be instructions inside the limb box that will show us what we're supposed to do there. Okay, so that's just bolts. I'll start with the £75, just to get familiar. Okay, interesting. Do not dry fire. That applies to all crossbows. Now, no instructions. What I will say is this looks different to what I expected. Packers, fairly standard. Carefully. Cut these cable ties. Okay, great. Could have maybe used a sharper knife to do this. What I need to do is just take this one off. Steambow Advanced, £75. Now that needs to slide into here, so goes in there like that. So off camera, I think I'm just going to work out how I get this out rather than embarrassing myself. I actually worked it out off camera. It wasn't too difficult. I just used the spanner to sort of wedge it out. It's only a small piece, not 100% sure what it's for, but it was just very tightly compacted in, so just wedged it out. So then we need to put 75 pounds in. Okay, that actually went in relatively easily. Drop that back down. Put this grub screw back in. I'm not going to over tighten this, as I'm not sure it's totally necessary. This all fits together quite nicely, so I don't think it needs to be destroyed in order to hold it in place. There we go. There we have it. Very light. That's something I'll say straight off the bat, especially compared to the Cobra Adder. Extremely light. So something I did do is I just waxed the string and the rail off camera, which is highly important. I think what we'll do now is we'll try and get some of these in. The magazine doesn't feel as cheap as I thought it was off the back of some of the reviews I saw. I thought it would be worse, if I'm honest. It doesn't feel too bad to me. After watching Jorg Sprav's review, I genuinely thought this would feel much, much worse, but it feels good. Goes in nicely. I'd say nicely, you have to give it a bit of a tap, but that feels relatively easy. And it comes out quite nicely too, so not actually as bad as I thought it was going to be off the back of Jorg Sprav's video. Right. Now I did hear that these can be a bit difficult to get in, so let's... Oh! I was told that, well, the reviews I saw stated one wouldn't stay in by itself. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, interesting, because again, like I said, off Jorg's video, he sort of made out like you could do this sort of thing. I mean, that one is starting to come a bit loose, but realistically, are you ever going to hit them that hard? I actually think this is my fault. I didn't realise these were double stacked, and I think I've put a couple on the wrong side. So let's see how this goes. Okay, that's loaded. You can see there that one of the bolts is ready, I suspect, to be fired. Okay, so that's put it in the, it's in the fire position. Okay, well that's interesting. Okay. Okay. Well, I need to have a little think about that because it just... Does it stay in the fire position? I'm not entirely sure. I'm just going to retrieve the bolt I just shot into a target, by the way. So again, we're in the fire position. I was able to cock the weapon, so maybe if I put it in safe position and cock the weapon, we'll see what happens. So it's pushed me into the fire position. Okay, so I'll push it into safe. I'm going to aim at the target, but I'm going to see if I can fire it. No. Okay, so the safety does work when you put it on safe, but the weapon won't auto-engage safety. So now I'll put it back in the fire position. Again, I'll go and retrieve that bolt quickly. So what I did there was I actually fired off all the bolts as I wanted to have another go at reloading this. I mean, I wasn't unhappy with the stacking before, but I just want to make sure this makes sense. So your first one goes in where it goes in. So perhaps I'll try to pull that one over to the right a touch. Next one, push to the left, pull to the right, push to the left, pull to the right, push to the left, pull to the right, push to the left, pull to the right. Now what I would say is, I do think that 10 is a stretch. I think the magazine is really stuffed quite tight at 10, unless I'm doing this wrong. But something else. I mean, that's quite good. It's on the cusp of coming out the 10th bolt, but there you go. So I can get the 10th out, but any more, you're not getting the other 9 out. The 9 are solid. I think Steambow could have made this maybe 2 mil deeper. Again, unless I'm doing something wrong, but there you go. I really cram that in like that. So actually, and again, the reason I'm doing this so much is because I've seen a few reviews essentially stating how one slight tap and all the bolts fly out, which actually was putting me off buying it. But seeing that actually, you really, oh okay, so actually what I've done there is I've squeezed it and they'll come out easier. But, you know, you've really got to do things to this magazine that you wouldn't usually do. You're not going to be shaking these magazines around. You're going to be taking them out of your pouch and putting them straight into... Oh, where did that one come from? Okay. Gonna just quickly, taken 10 shots, so just quickly get some. I mean, I can see the string is really quite heavily waxed at the moment, but I think I'm going to just get a little bit more on. I can actually see this rail still quite waxed. You can never have too much wax. It is in the fire position. So you can maybe see it a touch. And there you go. That is the M10 straight out the box. I was able to adjust this. Again, I just did it off camera quickly. These actually unscrew. And then there's this sort of clip system where you can pull up and down. And that's perfect. That's actually perfect for looking down the iron sights. My first thoughts on this is that for the money it costs, when you compare this to a Revo 7 or a Revo 12 or the Interceptor, it's so much cheaper, which is why I bought it, because I think I'll have to put up on the screen what I paid for everything. But with the extra, with the £150 limbs, extra magazines, extra bolts, extra strings, I still think it was less than the just Interceptor body. I may be wrong, but I feel like this is about half the price of the Interceptor. So the Interceptor might be better, but it's also twice as expensive. So I think, again, I don't remember exactly what I paid. I'll put it up on the screen what I paid, again from Merlin Archery. But I think for the cost, to me, just putting it together, fired 11 shots. No faults are jumping out at me straight off the bat. I'll have to do some testing, but it feels solid. I love the cheek rest. It feels good. It feels good. I'm glad I bought it. I was worried when I bought it, oh, is it going to be crap? Am I going to regret it? But do you know what? Straight off the bat, I do really like it. It's really light. Something I don't like about the Cobra Adder is it's mega heavy and it's so easy to load. I don't like that it doesn't engage safe straight away. That's something that needs to be remembered, that it's in fire right now. But really nice piece of kit. I'm not going to do the red dot sight. I'm not going to talk in too much more about the magazines. I think we'll just call it a day where it is. And I think what I'll do is over a few weeks get some shooting videos with the £75 and the £150 limb set and sort of see those differences and come back with a better idea of what I think. But first impressions, definitely glad I bought it for the price I got it. When you compare it to other crossbows, I think it probably cost more than the Cobra Adder for sure, but I mean that's great. It does leave a bolt inside, but can go straight back in. No, all in all, glad I bought it. I think I'm going to have some fun with this. Look forward to getting some more videos done with it.